What's up? Bobby Manning here. We got Celtics, we got Bulls. It's been a rough night. It's been a frustrating night at times, but the Celtics are within 11 now as we talk, watching here in the fourth quarter. So some hope. Frantic comeback by Kemba Walker and others who have contributed here. Robert Williams playing some good center minutes. I think Grant Williams has had a solid game at the four. Maybe a night that makes you wonder if he should be playing the four alongside Rob a little more often. I know it hasn't been a great lineup number-wise start the year, but it's worked a bit here. Slow night for Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum. They've been the big disappointments here as Chris Middleton makes it 13 with 7:48 to go. So we're going to take you to the finish line here. We're going to talk about some trades, some stuff I've been tossing in the trade machine ahead of tomorrow. I think the Celtics need a move. There's no way around it. I think standing pat would be an absolute disaster for the short and long term for various reasons. As Jeff Teague hits a 3, makes it 10. The Celtics showing some life here late in the quarter. The Celtics don't have as much flexibility during the offseason as is being thrown around. Jason Tatum's extension kicks in, so any mid-level action, which of course they're probably not going to be able to do, and any sign-in trades would hard cap them, and they would be over the hard cap in any circumstance that matters, at least by TPE standards. So that limits, of course, the Celtics to players that are on rosters going in this offseason. So John Collins, others like that, Lonzo Ball. Those aren't going to be trade options in the offseason. They are now, of course. Aaron Gordon is probably going to be traded by this trade deadline. There's a chance that the Magic could carry into the offseason, but I think, as many have reported, that he is going to be on a new team by the end of this week. And Kevin O'Connor went on NBC today and said the Nuggets are making a late charge for Aaron Gordon. So Aaron Gordon will be another player off the table this offseason. Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal fits in the TP now. He does not fit in the TP later. So that's going to be Jaylen Brown. It's Jaylen Brown or nothing there. So I don't see Bradley Beal coming down the line for this team. And you can dream of other guys. You can dream of Karl-Anthony Towns. I don't see that happening. Other huge guys, they probably don't have the flexibility cap-wise or with players and assets and contracts and stuff like that to make this work. Now, they could dip with the roster that they have now. I don't think that's likely. I think it's more likely that if you sell off some parts here and force Brad Stevens to go a little younger, that could maybe dip this team a little bit, but nothing's going to dip them into the lottery, I don't think. There's a possibility if they end up in the low end of that play-in tournament and then lose there. I believe you end up in the bottom half of the lottery if that happens, but you're not going to get into like deep lottery 1 through 4 position from being 14th to 13th in the draft. That's never happened, even with the new lottery odds. So would I trade Brown for Beal? I mean, I would think about it. I'm just saying that's the only way that Beal is going to work when we're talking about the offseason. So why would you save assets now thinking ahead to that deal when you could potentially add Aaron Gordon now or some other piece and then add Beal later and maybe have a more uniform, deeper, a more effective core? You could also try to add Evan Fournier now, has been talked about. That doesn't seem to be on the table now. The Celtics don't seem to be showing the aggression that is going to get something significant done here. So we might see something minor. We might see nothing at all. As Jaylen Brown hits a 3, gets it back to 9. Some real comeback action in Milwaukee right now, and would definitely be a change of mood if the Celtics were able to overcome what's been a 20-plus point deficit throughout much of this night. As many as what was the biggest deficit that the Celtics faced tonight? I mean, this is a 16-13 fourth quarter now. As the Bucks push it back to 113-102. Biggest Bucks lead has been 25. We will get to some trade machine fun here. Chris Middleton just hit another deep 2. So the Celtics probably aren't going to come back in this one, but they get time, 5.5 minutes. Smart turn left to Tatum. Tice running some offense out of the high post. They have a nice combo now between Tice and Rob Williams. They both played well in the recent weeks. Marcus Smart, pull up 3. Good. So we're back to 10. All right, so we got a commercial. Let me just tweet something out here, and then we'll get to that trade machine. All right, so his 25 points has become 8. Kemba Walker has 20. He averaged 29 against this team last year, 8 of 15, 4-7 from 3. Tatum, 5 of 16. He has struggled, hasn't hit a 3. Jaylen Brown, 9 of 15. That last breakout gets the Celtics close. And then Jeff Teague again, getting to the free throw line, hitting a couple of 3s. 17 minutes, 15 points. I think we're talking 3 strong performances from Jeff Teague in a row now. Positive minutes from him and the bench, Rob Williams, and Peyton Pritchard just 4 minutes. So again, Jeff Teague passing him in the rotation as he has often into the second half of this season. Celtics leaning into their veterans. It would be Semi Ojeleye, but he got hurt with a hip injury midway through this one. So Grant has stepped in and done a good job. The depth of this team. When they step up, you see that the Celtics are able to compete. All right, so a couple things I'm kicking around here. I'll switch our screen share over. We got a trade machine right here. And here we go. We don't have much time, but we'll kick around some stuff. The big rumor today, Kyle Lowry to the Lakers. So I kicked around a couple of versions of this, talked to some Lakers people, see what would be palatable in this situation. And there's not much. They would, of course, have to match $30 million in this situation, give up some valuable rotation pieces, I believe, just to make the money work. And this is probably the most palatable version of this. Wesley Matthews heading out his expiring money. Montrezl Harrell, who the Raptors desperately would need at that center spot. And then KCP just to make the money work. You could probably flip Kyle Kuzma with KCP. And again, I don't think either of those are extremely palatable for the Lakers. Let me kick around some other things here. If you don't want to give up KCP, I don't think there's any way around giving up Harrell. They just need a player like that so badly. Your other option would be Dennis Schroeder. So does this make sense for the Raptors? Dennis Schroeder's about to expire. He wants $20 million. He wants a contract that's going to show him respect and value what he did this year to become one of the best rotation guards in the NBA. So they can either choose, we're going to pay Kyle Lowry less money at the point guard spot, probably in his next deal in LA if he's willing to stick around in a deal like this, to become our point guard for the next few years. We're going to go all in on veterans instead of paying a young guard huge money right now. Or you can stick with the team you have. Schroeder's been outstanding, especially defensively. And he's young. He can be part of the next core that they want to kick into the future. Problem is, do they really have a next core? They don't have picks. They don't have some of the good young players that they had, like Lonzo Ball and Kyle Kuzma. So I don't see this deal coming together. I see something more like this happening if we kick this to Philadelphia. What I gathered on the Lowry front from Philadelphia's standpoint, we're talking Tony Bradley, a center, which the Raptors need. Danny Green, send him back to Toronto. Good history there. And then we'll do what? Matisse Thybulle, they want him. Tyrese Maxey, they want him. And does that work money-wise? All right, we need a little more money here. And the Raptors are going to have to open up some roster spots here. They have plenty of guys that they could cut bait with. Henry Ellenson just came up from the G League. Do you send Mike Scott? Does that get you the money? Yep. So there you go. Something like that. The Raptors, this is a tough trade for them to pull off because they would need 4 roster spots. You're going to keep Bradley. Well, it doesn't matter. You need the roster spots to make this happen. So they would have to cut bait if we go back to the screen with, let's say, Watson, Ellenson, send Patrick McCaw somewhere maybe in another deal, and then send Aaron Baines somewhere as expiring money in a deal. This is a tough one. It's definitely not easy for the Raptors to find this trade right now, but this and a first, they're probably talking. They probably got a deal here. This and a first, but do you have enough spacing in this case? Danny Green's been a valuable spacer for the Sixers. Mike Scott can hit threes. Tyrese Maxey, that's their first-round pick, future point guard, hopefully, in their mind. This one won't be easy to swallow, but the 76ers are all in on a championship, as they should be. So this is what we're talking about here. Let's kick it over the Celtics. As we talk about ways to make this Magic Celtics deal work. Celtics down 9 with 3 minutes to go. So we'll toss in the Celtics deal quick. A couple different options here. Some of this stuff is tricky. So I think the way I put it together is Marcus Smart for Gordon. It sounds like as of today that Smart's off the table. So how can we make this work money-wise without Smart in there? You start with Nesmith, of course. I think you probably need to do Nesmith and Langford. And then that's not enough money, obviously. What else do you have to toss in there to make this work? You could just make it a TPE net trade. Use the $18 million on the TPE. What's important to remember about the TPE is that even though the Celtics are sending out around $7.5 million here, that $7.5 million isn't subtracted from the TPE. Gordon's $18 million still goes straight into the TPE as $18 million. So there would only be about $10 million, a little less, remaining on the Celtics TPE in that case. Magic, in turn, in this case, assume a TPE that I believe would be $18 million. I might be wrong about that, but there would be some TP created for the Magic in this situation, which could be appealing to them. So you could use the TP and send out these 2 young players, maybe a second-round pick, and make this work. That seems to be the most likely scenario that the Celtics are going to take. What else can we do in this situation? You can match money. As Kemba Walker pulls up for 3, and we have a 3-point game, so we will revisit this trade machine because the Celtics have pulled from within 25 points to within 3 behind Kemba Walker, who continues to dominate this matchup with the Milwaukee Bucks. That's something you have to think about come playoff time. His continued dominance against this team, able to dominate their drop defenses. Giannis Antetokounmpo makes it a 5-point game, 142 to go. We are down to the wire here. Let me fire back up our scoreboard as Jaylen Brown hits a 3. 121 to 119. The Celtics have turned a 25-point game into a 2-point game with plenty of time to go. 1.5 minutes as Daniel Theis takes a charge. The Celtics have the ball with the chance to tie or take the lead. Daniel Theis gets a call, which will excite Celtics Nation. They've been waiting for something like that to happen for Daniel Theis with all his effort and all his physicality defensively. He has put the Celtics in position to tie this game, and he has had a great one. Look at his stat line. 4 of 8 from the field, 10 points, 2 blocks, and now a charge take on Giannis. So now we have a chance to finish our trade conversation. All right. So how would you make this deal work? Again, roster spots becomes an issue here. I'm going to jump back to our trade machine quick as the Celtics are coming out of their timeout. All right, here's my last trade idea of the broadcast. Nesmith, Langford. Let's throw Semi Ojeleye. Would you throw Semi Ojeleye? No, send Javonte Green and Carson Edwards. Semi Ojele's in the rotation right now. All right, that doesn't work either money-wise. Matching $18 million stuff. And again, we get into money matching here. I'm going to take Ojeleye out of this just because I still think you need him on the bench. Maybe you do need him to be in this deal. Let's keep Teague, point guard. Whew. You need some salary here. Theis? There you go. So I don't think money's getting matched in this case. That is just way too hard. Giving up way too many players. And so here we go. Celtics down 2. Kemba Walker. Will he bounce around the screen and hit this one? And the Bucks recover the ball. Celtics had a chance to tie the game. And the Bucks have it now with the chance to put it away. Bobby Portis and the Lopez in the post. So that's Holiday, rather. Out to DiVincenzo. Chris Middleton, corner 3. Foul. They don't call a foul. He got hit by Smart. Jaylen Brown has it going in transition. Kemba Walker going to the basket. He gets knocked down. So contact permitted in our final minute here. Chris Lopez lining up Tatum. Oh, Giannis just beat Kemba on a cut. He's going to roll out with the ball for some reason. I guess he was concerned about the Theis help. Theis goes right side to Giannis. Smart deflects a pass into the post to Brook Lopez. The Celtics have it. No shot clock. Chance to tie. 10 seconds. Kemba out to Theis. Smart blows by Lopez. Goes into Holiday, and the shot is blocked with 2 seconds left. Tough shot on the inside by Marcus Smart. And Kemba Walker was certainly fouled by Giannis on this play. There is no doubt about it. Hits him with the left hand, but it looked like Marcus Smart had fouled Chris Middleton on a 3 the play before. And now Lopez with what looks like certainly a clean block on Marcus Smart. That's going to be Celtics ball. 2 seconds left. Can the Celtics force overtime with a good inbounds play here? They do have a timeout. and they are using it looks like, to draw something up. Brad Stevens scribbling away at the clipboard. And let's see. Marcus Smart need to be traded? I think you get good value for him now, and Aaron Gordon might qualify as good value. I don't know, again, what you would do later that would package Smart's value into something. I was a big advocate of Smart for Collins. That doesn't seem to be on the table anymore. So, I don't think they need to trade him. There's a chance this team figures it out with its current core, but it doesn't seem unlikely. This deal right here is a decent idea, at least compared to what we know is now available around the league. These picks don't matter. They're just 14 through 25. I don't know what that's getting you that's going to get the Celtics any closer. You keep talking about what can the Celtics get that brings you closer in the trade market. What can they get in the draft between 14 and 25 that gets you anywhere closer to where you want to be within the next 3 to 4 years? And when you start talking about draft, that's really when you start talking about Jaylen Brown's time here, Jason Tatum's time here. By the time you develop a guy from the 2021 draft, integrate him, unless you just nail something and get lucky like Kawhi Leonard at 14. And again, I don't even think the Celtics will be picking at 14. I think the lowest they would probably dip is 16, 17. There's cost to doing there's cost to every decision you make. And one of those decisions is not doing anything. There's a cost to that. Tice expires at the end of the year. Smart expires at the end of next year. Your pick probably becomes less valuable compared to other picks around the league and teams that want to improve during the offseason. And let's not get this mistaken about the offseason. The teams that are out of it now, Houston, Toronto, those types, you don't think they're going to be trying to improve in the trade market during the offseason and have flexibility in their own right, better draft picks? It's a no-brainer. So Smart's going to inbound underneath. Smart inbounds. Kemba, Brown rolling high. Now cutting underneath. Brown lost the ball. Giannis had it in his hands. That's the ball game, but he dropped it out of bounds, and the Celtics have the ball. Is Lowry leaving Toronto? I would fully be prepared for Kyle Lowry to be traded tomorrow. I think it's almost certain. And here we go. This is the game. 1.5 seconds left. Smart. Tice wide open in the corner for the win. Hits the back of the rim. Daniel Tice got a wide open three-pointer in the corner, and that's the game. Celtics take it from 25 to 2, and it's 121-119. That's the final. We will see you on Celtics postgame show. Thanks for sticking around, talking some trades and such. I appreciate. Yeah, it's going to be a sad day for the Raptors losing Kyle Lowry. Thanks for tuning in, Liam. Thanks, Rich. Thanks, everybody else who's in the chat, watching on Twitter. If you watched on Twitter, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I see 7 of you. Bobby Manning, not the pastor. That'll be the first one you see. The guy that looks like me is who you want to subscribe. Number 2. Appreciate you tuning in. We'll be here on Friday. Thanks, Liam. And Friday's the Bucks. Saturday's the Thunder. See you this weekend. Have a good rest of your week, and I will see you on CLNS for trade deadline coverage and post